Welcome back for another video. This is your guy Ibrahim from Medellin, Colombia, a beautiful city. Today I'm with my boy Blake. We're kind of sharing room for the next month, so it's been amazing. Me and Blake actually met, I think back in June through Instagram actually. So we were working with a mentor, and I signed up, and Blake was part of the program already. So we kind of connect together. We engage on each other posts throughout uh, the last 6 months until we finally met in person last week, right? So that's the power of social media, guys. And me and Blake are into personal development, right? We very heavy on personal development, no matter if it's our physique, our mind, our spirituality. That's always the three areas of our life that we focus the most on improving. Also relationship and finances, but it's all together. It's the same boat, right? Once you start mastering one, well, eventually you will get like a domino effect on those other area of your life. Me and Blake became very good friends. So I just decided to have him today on the channel. It's kind of the first time I'm doing an interview with someone, and honestly, he's one of the best guys I can have. Right now, uh, bro is dialed in. His routine, is unshakable. Mindset is top level. Very successful in his life, and we kind of have similar values, similar way of style. So it's kind of a perfect match for this interview. So Blake, welcome, my boy.
Thank you, bro.
Uh, just want to let you introduce yourself, quickly, so the audience know about who you are.
Yeah, my name is Blakedambrosio. Like Ibrahim said, the power of social media. Before we had even met each other, we knew we would be good friends because you could already see who aligns with you, who shares the values. And I've been an entrepreneur for the last 5 years. I was reselling sneakers for 4 years. Started that in 2020. And then about 6 months ago, moved to Colombia for the first time. I'm still reselling sneakers a bit, but it's more passive at this point. And went all in with personal brand and the coaching offer, and it's been great. I've traveled to a couple different countries so far, and fitness is at the center of it all.
Exactly, bro. What's interesting is, as he said, he was selling sneakers at some point. He was making money. Before going online with my fitness, I was working like a 9 to 5 job, and I was making good money as well. So that's something that we had in common. But at the time, we were not very dialed in into personal development. We kind of working out, not having like the 100% physique that we have today, because both of us we very close to our full potential physically. But before, we're focusing on making money, right? Working out and having that social life, those drinks once in a while. And I feel that way of doing things came from what we learn about society, right? Okay, like the only way to be successful in life is to make money. At least that's how other people will judge you, will evaluate your level of success. It's based on how many you're making. So, right, me personally, from my culture, from my family, it was all about the job. If you're not a doctor, engineer, or lawyer, you're basically a failure in society, right? So my goal was to be an engineer, be successful, and making money. That's what I've done. I bought my first condo. I had a nice car. I have a decent lifestyle. I was making over 6 figures annually. Very decent way of living. But I realized that I was destroying myself. No matter how much money I was making, well, internally I was never satisfied. I always wanted to make more money, and I couldn't drop my vices, like the alcohol, the drugs, the party, the clubs, whatever it's not right for you. Well, that was my lifestyle. Of course, I was working out, I was working hard as well, but at the same time, I was having habits that were not beneficial for me internally. And it doesn't matter how much money you make, right? If you don't take control of who you are, well, that money will destroy you And that's what I realized. The more money I was making, the more money I was spending. And that's crazy because you think that you're going to save more money by making more. Well, that's only true if you heavy on personal development. But if you not take control of your mind, of who you are as a person, well, that money will tend to destroy you over time because you realize you have more financial power. So you start like, investing more in the wrong stuff, like the drugs, like, the club. Now you upgrade, you go to the high end club, like, the more expensive, like, bottle, the more expensive table, the more expensive, like, dinner. So there is no limit in that way of living, right? And that's why at some point when I start my online business, I quit my job because I was bored about it, right? And that's where I realized like satisfaction will only come internally, right? When you set a personal goal for yourself and you work towards it every single day, well, that's gonna bring you fulfillment. And that's what I learned. That's my own experience. And that's why I love fitness because your body is what you see. It's like a predictable science. What's your inputs will be your outputs, right? You eating clean, you work out, you sleep well, you're gonna get in good shape. So you start seeing result, and because you see your own result from your own work, that's great satisfaction. And the more you're building yourself physically, well, you're gonna start having interest in other areas of your life, like your mindset, your spirituality. You'll have more control of your finance, and now you start being in control of your life and not letting life controlling you. So I'm a true believer that if you get in shape, it means that you're gonna take control of your body because it's gonna bring you discipline in your life, and that discipline you can apply it in everything that you're doing, your finances, your relationships, your business, and also giving you that desire to take more risk in life and go after the things that you want, and also really experience like what's true happiness, right? And I feel he has a similar story. He went like, through that phase, making money but not being in shape, not heavy, and everything changed for Blake when he start like going heavy on personal development. He's still like, in good shape. He's still making money, right? But now internally, like there's a difference. So just want to ask you, Blake, since you start working on personal, you were making money at first, right? Had a good life, but you were not focused on personal development, right? Just making money, spending it after. What was the shift in your mind that tell you that, okay, like I need to start taking control of myself despite making all of that money online?
Yeah, so I wanted to go from a hustler to a boss. So at the time I was hustling, I was running around in my car picking up shoes, as many as possible. When I wasn't doing that, I would sneak a bit of time before to work out or maybe late at night to work out. And once market for sneakers started to come down a little bit, I understood that I had to get more strategic. I needed a better game plan. Instead of hustling and when market was high, everybody was reaching out to me to sell sneakers. So it was easy. I didn't have to think about it. When the market started to sink, I wasn't getting as many people reaching out. So I knew I had to do something. And a boss, what do? They're not hustling around every day doing the same things. They're overseeing everything. They're calling the shots. They're game planning. They're envisioning the future and setting setting up shop for success. So that's what I knew I had to do. I had to start calling shots, and I wasn't at the point where I knew much about business. I wasn't at the point where my network was where it had to be. I wasn't at the point where I had the capital I needed. So, in order to get all that, I started reading business books. I started reading more about personal development, more about how success isn't just about the money, but it's about health, it's about relationships, spirituality. It's not just about the money. So, once I heard that, my whole mindset and my approach towards life of just getting money quickly shifted, and that's when everything changed. In order to be a boss, I knew I had to upgrade every aspect of my life, especially those four pillars: relationships, finances, health, and spirituality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's massive. That's dope. And don't get us wrong, like, we still enjoying life, just like, in a different way. Like, the difference right now is once you start focusing on yourself, well, you start loving yourself more and you start to have more respect, like, about your body, about who you are, because you realize that that's a gift that you have. Being in shape, like, it's for everyone, but at the same time, like, it's a privilege, bro. Like, it's just a reflection of you working hard, you putting the work, uh, you having unshakable discipline in your life, you not relying on motivation, and also a lot of people around you will notice you, and you will start inspiring other people, like, to move in the right direction. And the thing is, once you focus on that, you stop looking for those little escape, right? Like the weekends. Honestly, Saturday, Sunday is the same, like, as Tuesday and Monday. Like, for me, there is no big difference, right? And that's because every single day is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to get better, to level up, right? Versus society will tell you work hard from Monday, Friday, rest on weekend, and repeat. This is just being in a loop, bro. But if you wanna get to that next level, you cannot just spin your wheel all the time. You got to move up. And the best way to move up, well, it's to break down those different areas of your life and set, like, some goals, right? Maybe, like, it's a 6 month goal, like 12 month, 3 years, 5 years. That's up to you, right? And every single day, while you have those goals, like, in mind, and you take one step, you might not get to the goal, like, as fast as you want, but you know that if you keep walking that path, you will get there at some point. And that's the entire point of personal development. It just developing is just developing yourself, exactly as it says, right? So how do you develop yourself is by be aware of where you are right now and seek improvement, because I don't care how much money you're making, how good in shape you feel you are, how great your relation is with your girlfriend. There's still something that you can go after it, right? Let's pretend that everything is perfect in your life. Well, do something different, right? Because there's no status quo in this life. If you stop growing, like, you're dying. That's something that I learned. So your only goal is to grow every day. It's like a plant. Well, you plant the seed. After that, the seed become a plant. The plant become a tree, and etc. So nature wants you to grow, right? Not to stay the same. And that's why, like, a tree is not complaining, for example, because it's it's fulfilling his duty, his responsibility, which is to grow. And as human, well, that's our goal as well, is to grow. The problem is when you surround yourself with the wrong people, like, you just keep listening to society and you stop focusing on yourself. Well, other people start to put the limiting beliefs inside your head, and because of those limiting beliefs, you're not growing anymore. You're not doing anything about it, and that's how you start to be controlled by everything that's around you. And that's why I say, like, I love fitness, because you start taking control of you, and because you take control of you, you realize that, okay, like, you can create things, like, you have powers in your hand if you put the work, if you believe in yourself. So there's a process, and everything for me start when I start getting in shape. I got in shape. I was able to build my confidence, my relationship improved. I took some risk in my life. I moved down to Mexico, Medellin, Miami. I start making money online, and at the same time, you attract the right people in your life. So, whatever you are right now, and you feel like your shape is not where it should be, get in shape, bro. I mean, step number one, like, get in shape. Like, you don't realize, like, how your limiting belief will just go away just because you work on yourself, just because, like, you show up, you push hard, you give your 110%, and you're doing things that your mind is thinking that you cannot do. And that's how you get rid of limiting beliefs, bro, is by doing things that you believe was not possible before. That's how you break it, bro. And keep doing that every single day. You get in shape, and you're gonna see that, oh man, like, my confidence level is there. and I can do something. So you go after it. You start to be the creator of your life versus just being like, a random character and just being controlled by whatever, it's around you. And for you as well, like, I know you've been like, on different cycle, like, in fitness, bulking, like, cutting. But when you feel like you're deviating from your goal, like, how does it make you feel? And at some point, like, what kind of trigger you have in your mind that tells you, hey, it's time to get back, like, to that level?
Yeah, it all depends on identity. It depends how you see yourself. So in the past, I would have seen myself as a bit chubby. Growing up, just a bit chubby at all times. I was always skinny, fat, skinny arms with this little fat right here. So that was my identity. So I was fine with it. If it's your identity, you've just accepted that that's part of you. You've accepted that's true. So I was fine with having a little pouch right here sticking out my shirt. And after the first bulk cut I did, it was the first time I had ever got shredded. It was the first time that I had lost that lower stomach fat. And ever since then, my identity has just been I'm in shape. I'm ripped. I have a six pack. So when you bounce off that, because just because that's your identity doesn't mean you're going to keep that the rest of your life. Everybody messes up. So let's say now, compared to in the past, if I would have got shredded, well, that wouldn't have lasted long because my identity was that I'm skinny fat. So after long enough, after you use so much willpower, there comes a breaking point where you can't hold off any longer, and you'll revert back to your old identity. So I was just bound to end back up skinny fat. Compared to now, my identity is that I have a six pack. So if I get off that, and maybe let's say this little bit of fat comes back, it's okay. This isn't who I am. I'm shredded. So let's get back to that. I revert back to the new identity now. So it's all about how you see yourself in the present moment. And if you've been fat your whole life, it might be hard to picture yourself as somebody with a six pack because it's never been part of you. So what you have to do is you have to keep telling yourself in the present moment, I have a six pack, and you're lying to yourself a bit at the beginning, but your brain your brain doesn't know the difference between, and you feel it, and you have to feel it. So imagine that you have a six pack. Tell yourself that you have a six pack, and when the temptations come in, let's say, no, I'm the type of person who resists. I'm the type of person who gets pleasure out of resisting. I'm the type of person with a six pack. And once you act towards that long enough, then that becomes your new identity, even before you have a six pack. It might take 2-3 weeks for that to really sink in, and you're going to have to tell yourself over and over and remind yourself that you're the guy with the six pack. Even if it hasn't came yet, it's on its way. So just understanding that identity piece, that you can choose who you are, and once you've acted towards something for long enough, that becomes part of you. So once I did that with my diet and the food that I eat and the workouts that I do and the way I look, even if I got off track for a week, 2 weeks, that wasn't me. The real me is somebody with a six pack. So I just have to, remind myself that this isn't me. This is just a bump in the road. Now let's get back to work.
Amazing. Yeah. That's kind of what people we call like manifestation. You're somewhere in your life and you want to attract some feel. Well, you have to be that person and just walk in your head as you are that person, like already. And eventually, like your thoughts process will change, your behavior will change, and because your behavior change, like your action, like will change. And as you say, like if that identity was not there, well, it doesn't matter how you forethink, you will always go back to square one because that's not who you are. Like, that's what you think you can achieve, but your mind, your subconscious mind, doesn't believe it. So that's why he kind of says something you have to keep telling yourself a lie over and over until it become reality, right? And that's the same. That's what happens, like for me, because I was a chubby boy before, so I had to look at myself in the mirror and just like feel the joy of having abs. Although like I had like that little pouch, maybe a bigger one than you, and but that's okay, bro. Right? It's a process. It's not something that's gonna happen overnight for sure. But if you give up today, it's never gonna happen. That's what I keep telling myself. And I love that principle, like of self, that identity, which is basically like your self image. And what advice would you give to someone let's say like someone is nowhere. Who is he like in his life? Not making money, not in shape. I always believe that the first step should be being in shape, because you can have that reality like faster. It's kind of, for me, a level one of what you can change is like yourself, your physique. Start by getting in shape, and eventually you will have more confidence and energy to go after your dream work, or like doing that business online that you've been waiting for, right? So if you know where you want to be in life, physically, financially, well, start getting in shape, bro. Because you will create those beliefs, that confidence, and then you're gonna apply that in your business or the new business that you want to undertake. Same question for you, like about someone who has to change his identity to reach his fitness goal. What you have to do to become successful with your business, in this case, applying the same principle.
You have to take the first step. Anybody can talk, anybody can tell people what they plan to do, anybody can dream late at night, get the midnight motivation after watching an Andrew Tate reel or something, and that's not going to cut it. One step is all it takes. You put the first foot forward. If a business is your first goal, the first step would be understanding what you want to do. That's you have to know what you want to do. You have to know where you want to go. So the first step with that could be going on Google and typing a couple of your interests in, and what business models best support my personality, my lifestyle, where I want to go. Something along those lines. A simple Google search is step one. Because once you take one foot forward and at least get yourself in the game, you're not dreaming anymore, you're not telling people anymore, you're playing. You've taken that first Google search, you've taken that first step. One level, one thing you need to shed to find what you want to do and to get yourself in the door has been removed. The first level has been removed. You obviously aren't going to see the final product for a long time, but the first level has been removed. So when you're getting started, it's scary to start because you don't know where you're going, but that only gets more clear each step you take.
Yeah.
So find out what you want to do, not what other people think you should do, not what the gurus are telling you online, but what your personality lines up with, and what you enjoy, and what you could stick to ultimately. What pains of the business can you take? And that's for a whole nother video, but taking the first step forward is the first step. And like I said, the layers kind of get peeled back every step you take.
Amazing. It's like an onion.
Exactly. The snowball
Amazing.
effect.
Yeah, exactly. So, wrapping up that video, last question for you, bro. What are three advice that you can give someone, like very short, to start taking control of their life and going after the thing they want?
Pick one goal a day. For these next 3 days, I want you to pick one goal a day. Not five, not a 10 goal to-do list. Pick one goal for tomorrow, the day after, and the day after that's manageable, that you know it might sound easy. It might be make your bed, but that you know that you can complete, because that's a win. And at the end of the day, we need to stack wins to build social proof, to build confidence. The second, speak to one stranger a day. One stranger a day. It's uncomfortable for most people. You've probably been living under a rock. You're probably lonely, as many people are right now. And the first step is putting in reps. Speaking to one person a day with no intended goal. If you see a beautiful woman, say hi with no intention of getting her number, of whatever.
Yeah.
Just have a conversation, because it doesn't matter about the woman, it doesn't matter the guy, it doesn't matter the result. We're just going for reps. Action.
Last one.
Learn. You have to learn. A lot of people will stop learning after 18, after they graduate college or high school. Maybe not 18, maybe about 21. But learning is what you need to do every day. And that could be real world experience. Learning how to operate, learning how to speak, learning what works best for you, best routines, learning who you are. Just learn every single day, because you only grow to the amount of knowledge you have. You only grow to the amount of the world you understand. You're never going to pass your baseline for what you know. Learn every day.
And how people can find you?
Blakedambrosio on Instagram and YouTube. Blake D'Ambrosio.
Amazing, bro. That was a fire interview.
Let's go, bro.
Thanks for. No, we said like coming, just showing up because we kind of live in the same apartment.
Yeah.
So thanks for being present. And guys, honestly, that's great advice. Like, we share with you today. And just one thing, bro, like you just start taking control of your life. Just sit down with yourself, like be aware of what you are, what you do, like, every day, and just make a list. Are those things like, beneficial for you or not beneficial for you? And the easiest way, like, to level up is just by starting getting rid of everything that are not great for you. The vices, like, the procrastination, the laziness, the shitty people around you, your bad environment, maybe your job might be risky, but hey, if that's what you have to do to be fulfilled and happy, well, that's maybe your destiny. So take that risk, level up, and I promise you, life is better on the other side. And for everyone that's been watching this video till the end, thank you so much. My IG link is on the bio as usual. If you have any question, if you want to learn on how to improve your physique, your mindset, drop me a follow, shoot me a text. I'll be more than happy to help you. See you on the next video. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go, baby.